Hey there. In this video, I'm going to share some video recording tips and techniques that you could use before recording, during recording, and post recording, right? Especially for the purpose of creating very professional, value based courses for your audience. Okay? To start with, we'll go ahead and check the checklist for before hitting the record button. What are the things, tips and techniques? Through my practical experience, sometimes I learned the hard way. I burnt my fingers and I had to re-record. Okay, but you wouldn't have to do it. So just watch these and take notes. Let's dive straight in. Checklist before you start to record. Okay, I got 14 points here. Number one, and most important, is plan. If you don't plan, you're going to face unforeseen. You will still face some unforeseen, but you can mitigate a lot of unforeseen if you plan very well, if you think it through. Okay, and the key components of planning is obviously, you would have to know your audience very well. Have a clear purpose for the video piece. What does this video convey? Like this video, the core purpose of this video is to help people from my learnings get the tips and techniques to do a good video recording professionally for their courses. Okay, so simple core purpose. Yeah, have your content ready. If you plan, have your content ready. Content ready in terms of in your mind for that piece of content. In notes, literally, I have the habit of writing it in notes because that way what happens is there is a power that we cannot, directly, tangibly relate to. There's a power in thinking, writing. Okay, when the mind, the thought, the hands coordinate and write. When you write, there's an imprint. Okay, and then keep reference pointers. Never read from a script. Okay, keep pointers for reference. That will help you do a good recording. Okay, use simple words, no jargons, no BS, no complex, because people don't have the time. Okay, to find out what you actually meant. Point number two. Create needed display props up front. Okay, if you see this mind node that I'm using, it's created already. I'm referencing it and I'm unleashing it, unveiling it as we speak. All right. So some background effort, your PPT, your PDF, your Excel, your mind map, your document, whatever other prop that you want to use or a website that you want to show, keep that open and ready to the page that you want to share during the recording, lest you spend and waste a lot of people's time going and clicking away during recording, right? Ensure proper lighting. Okay, I'm not at the best of lighting at this point in time. There's a little bit of a shadow, which is okay. A little bit of shadow is okay, but not a big shadow which actually disturbs people, all right? Ensure proper lighting. Simple LED light, 45 degrees, not directly from in your front, especially if you're using a whiteboard. That's not an advisable thing coming directly because it's going to reflect from the board. But 45 degrees on two sides is good. Yeah. External noise. Be aware of external noise. There's a party going downstairs there. You want to make sure you have a good soundproofing or the windows closed. Notify your folks at home lest the cooker starts off at that point in time when I'm recording, right? Or somebody barges in to take something from the shelf here. So 15 minutes of focus time where there's no external noise as far as possible. Some noise here and there, a doorbell rings, is okay. All right, people understand. Yeah. Test your camera angle and frame right up front because you don't want to end up recording and then when you're looking to see the recorded version, it's difficult to adjust after that if you're off frame, right? And if the angle is not right. So check that stuff so that the subject, the person, is focused properly. Not necessarily the center. There's a 3x3 rule that you don't want to be absolutely center. You want to probably have some, a little bit of an angle or a side view. Okay. Test the audio and mic. I've had an instance where I did a very energetic, powerful content recording of about 15 minutes, only to play back and find that there was no volume, right? Now, I was thinking through and speaking my heart out in that video. I can't dub it, right? I'm not a dub artist, and it's not a pre-planned text, right? So make sure you have a good audio that can capture. Of course, we can, we have the editing tools to fix some audio challenges down the road or mic challenges down the road. But if it's not on, and if it's not clear, if it's very noisy, then you might want to fix it right up front. Check your laptop battery. Okay, you don't want to get into recording mode and figure out that the battery sign is showing up on the side. That's a big distraction, and you can get disheartened. You may have to pause and stop and interrupt if the battery is low, right? Because these recordings consume a lot of battery and also memory. Okay, that's another point. Check your internet speed. Yeah, because recording, especially if it's live, requires a lot of internet speed. Okay, and I shared in the previous video all the details about what gear you need, what software you need in terms of live recording and all that. Okay, so when you're using those, it's going to suck in a lot of internet speed and also memory. Okay, so close all unwanted screens and windows. If you don't need crickinfo.com live update happening, and a stock ticker happening, those consume a lot of memory. They keep refreshing also. Okay, so available space on your laptop also, right? Strategic backdrop. Okay, I'm not too much for it, but as long as there's a decent contrast and you have a backdrop. I have a whiteboard sometimes. I like when there's inquisitiveness and there's something written on the board and people want to see what's written and why. What is the correlation between what is sharing and what's written? That's okay. But wear a dark t-shirt if you're having a white backdrop. Some contrast is good. Don't fade into the backdrop. Okay, and only your face and the expressions being there. Yeah. Contrast dress as backdrop, as I said. Okay, have water handy. There could be situations where you could end up with a dry throat or coughing or just to feel comfortable. You can use water. You can sip in on water, and maybe even use the washroom before you get started. Okay, you don't want to speak under pressure of wanting to go to the loo, right? The washroom. Get into the mood, right? Depending on the content. Okay, some people may want to calm themselves down, which is very good, which is most of the time a very important activity. Breathe, breathe in, breathe out, calm yourself down, get into the mood, the frame of mind. Okay, some people may want to listen to energetic music because they want to give out energy. Okay, but don't overdo it. Doesn't look good. Okay, so this is in a nutshell, the set of checklists that you want to do before you start to record. Now let's go ahead and see what are the things you need to be wary of when you are actually recording and post-recording. Okay, during and post-recording. All right, let's see what we got here. I got 15 points here. All right, so you've got this already prepared and ready. One of the key things is look into the camera. Yeah, eye contact, resonate, connect with the audience. Very important. Smile a lot as far as possible. Be cheerful because nobody has time and mood unless you're sharing breaking news, which is sad information. You're not wanting to be very grumpy, right? Talk directly to an individual, meaning you. Even if you're expecting 20 people in the webinar or there are 15 people in the Facebook Live, don't address as you folks and you guys. Okay, it's better to talk as if there's only one person in front of you, to you, that person. Because if you want to impact in a course, you want to as if make the person feel that it's one-on-one. Okay, that they have to seep in the input. All right, be confident. Okay, after all, you are the giver. You're giving value, right? Why fear when you're giving value, right? Speak slowly, loud, and clearly, because when you speak slowly, you're not automatically your voice is good, your loudness is there, your clarity is there, and you're being very very fair to your brain, right, to your mind, to be able to feed in the right words to your mouth. If you're ahead of the game, then you got to fumble and jumble more. So slow, clear, and loud. Articulation and tonality. The same information said differently is taken differently, right? So articulate. Tonality. After visual and body language, the next most important thing in communication is the tonality, not the content. Content comes third. How you say what you say matters. Okay? Body language. Don't be too very aggressive. Okay? At the same time, you need to be confident. The hand gestures, very important. Not very, defensive. At the same time, not very offensive. Back posture, you got to be as straight as possible. Don't lean into and start speaking into the audience. Eye level contact has to be as close to the camera height. You don't want to be looking down on your audience to speak into, and you don't want to get too very close to the camera. I'm a little bit slightly I've done that before in the past because I need a spectacle and sometimes I don't use it. So I need to read into stuff. If I have to, then I get a little closer. But then, yeah, if you're, as long as you're not too very close to the camera and scary to the audience, it's good enough. All right. So body posture, body language makes a big difference. Appropriate expressions. You don't want to go overboard on your facial expression because, sometimes I have seen advertisements and I've seen people who go absolutely overboard, and that's not going to be taken right. Yeah. Do not ever read from a script. Okay. These pointers are fine, but you don't want to feel, and in the first 30 seconds, people will lose you if you're reading from a script. You're not a news reader, right? You want to sharing your knowledge into content, into value. Do only one take. Remember, I fumbled and jumbled a little bit here during this entire pitch or sharing. It's okay. A little bit of as long as you are genuine, as long as you are authentic, as long as you are the giver, no problem. A little bit of fumble jumble is okay. So do it in one take and be yourself. Don't try to fake it. Don't try to be another person. Avoid unnecessary accent. I have seen people, the moment they have to start talking in English, they go, so what I was trying to say, right? I was in the US for 11 years, so I have an accent embedded, but that's me. That's just me naturally. There is an Indianized version over the past, 15 years since I've come back to India. Stay at it. That is okay. And do not fake content. Do not throw examples that are exaggerated versions of, what happened really or even didn't even happen really. Only share real life examples, but you could share it. You can dramatize the sharing, and there's a method of storytelling. There's a method of sharing where there is impact. That's a separate session by itself. I have a separate session where I share how to share a story effectively, or an information as a story, or an incident as a story, very effectively and impactfully. Okay, and avoid exaggeration. Yeah, people will see through it. Empathize. Okay, remember the other person. So you're giving it. I'm giving it in bullets. If somebody stops and then continues, they will have continuity. Yeah, and it's one clear message. Okay, empathize. For all you know, your audience is traveling. They're having noise from where they're seeing and listening to you. Maybe they are on a treadmill, or so. And what is it that they need from this video? Give it to them exactly as is. They'll come back for more. Okay, collaborate with sound logic always. Yeah, give examples and showcase. Right. Master good editing tools. At the end of it, after all this, you may need to do some editing. Okay, if there's a background noise, suppose my fan was making a noise and it was there through and through my video, and I realized it after the recording is completed, I need an editing tool. I strongly recommend, and these are the tools that I use, and I have separate videos explaining how each of these tools can be leveraged and what functionalities and features that you need to master to create good output. Okay, screen flow and audacity. And above all, most importantly, practice makes a man perfect, man, woman perfect. Practice, practice, practice. More number of videos that you do, you get better at it. Don't fear about perfection though. Okay? Constant incremental improvement is good, but don't worry about perfection. All right? So, all the best to you guys. Hope this was useful. Comment below if you found it useful. Okay? Share what you learned from here, your top key takeaways. And if you think it was useful, I provide regular video updates in my inner Facebook circle called You Deserve Freedom. Okay, I have a link to it. Subscribe or join that Facebook group, and it's through invite only. So when you hit that link, you will be prompted with a few questions, and if you answer them, and if it goes through, it gets approved, I will approve it, and you can join the group where I keep sharing useful information about how to create your knowledge into digital courses and monetize them big time in today's digital coaching platform creation world. All right. All the best to you guys.